And a good evening, football fans, and welcome back to the Brevard Sports Network. Our continuing coverage of youth football. I thank Orange Pest Control stepping up and sponsoring this game. We're almost set, ready to go as the clock is getting started, or the clock is getting set. That's what the officials were waiting on. Starting a nice half hour early. I like it. And they're going to slide into about the 43-yard line. So the South will take over 1st and 10 from the 43. We'll see who the quarterback is. Under center. I formation. It's going to be a toss. And drop there for the North. Layden Bush. I guess Layden Bush, Ricardso in on the tackle. All right. Got Durfus in at quarterback. Brady Durfus out of the West Melbourne, one of the Woods boys. Durfus hands off there to number 77. Number 77 on the end around. He picks up some positive yardage. There's no 77. Caden Burke, the tight end out of West Melbourne. And they're just moving this right along here. Is a South squad. And that's going to be a big loss. Fourth down here. Durfus under center. Play action. Fires. Was looking for number 11 out of West Melbourne, Edmund McLean Jr. And that will bring up a turnover on downs. And the North will get an opportunity here. Alabama up 17-7 at halftime of the SEC championship game. Number 3, the quarterback for, it's Javion George out of Cocoa. Wrapped up by a host of South All-Stars. Number 24 was leading the charge. That's TJ Ross out of West Melbourne. Going to hear that a lot. I mean, you look at majority of the helmets that are on the field on the sideline, it might as well be the Woods plus some. Pitch out to number 10. Number 10 tries to get to the outside, and he'll be run out of bounds. Michael Arthur on the carry. Arthur out of the Coco program. Pass and incomplete. That's number 15, the intended receiver, Jonathan Gonzalez. This should be fourth down. So it's fourth down here for the North. Drops back to pass. He's trying to avoid pressure. Slips out of a tackle, but finally brought down. Number 22. Jace Richardson officially will get credit for the sack. Jones Jr. led the charge, but it was officially Jace Richardson. So a turnover on downs in the South now will get the ball. So they didn't really lose too many yards on their turnover on downs. Durfus hands out to the fullback up the middle, and the fullback absolutely running over defenders. This is number 22. Jace Richardson. Of course, where else would he be out of but West Melbourne? Durfus sends a man in motion. There's a toss out to number 11. Number 11 cuts up field, and goodness gracious, was hit. Ball's out. The North says they have it, and the refs agree. The North creates a turnover. It was Edmund McLean Jr. who took the ball to the outside, made one man miss, and then was popped. Well, he was popped so hard, he went backwards. The ball went rolling forward, and the North caused a turnover. North All-Stars trying to get something rolling here. Timeout called by, I didn't see whether it was the North or South that called the timeout, but anyway, North calls the timeout with 2:17 left to go here in the first quarter. Kevo Osborne, you're right, he was. I'd like to welcome everyone watching here on the Brevard Sports Network, whether you're watching on the YouTube page or the Facebook page. We are live streaming both places. Sends a man in motion. Hands off, and goodness gracious. Ball's on the ground. And the North somehow get back on it. I don't know how the North came up with that football. I'll be honest with you, folks. Number 3, Javion George. George just back to pass. Down the sideline. Caught! And he steps out of bounds, but he'll have enough for a North Side first down. And what a throw by Javion George. I didn't get the number on that receiver. George hands it off to the back, and the back will get dragged down to the line at the line of scrimmage. It was Michael Arthur. Tried to get something going up the middle and was immediately taken to the ground. George goes back to that same receiver on the sideline. In and out of the hands. That was, I believe, number 15, Jonathan Gonzalez out of Merritt Island. I believe Gonzalez is the one who made the nice reception on the last deep throw for North Side, and it's going to bring up as we're going to switch sides. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. 3rd and 10. Back, looking to try to get it out on a screen, and the lineman never got out front. And number 10 will be brought down, Arthur. Number 27, Caden Burke, also got in on that tackle. Going to bring up 4th and very long here for the North Side as we're into the second quarter. George just back to pass. Fires, and it's caught. It's caught. Is that 13? That's number 13 on the reception. Paul Woods out of Cocoa. So the Cocoa to Cocoa to Cocoa connection between George and Woods. North here, creeping inside the orange pest control red zone. Sitting on the 25-yard line. Toss the outside, cuts back inside, and he will be stopped. Painmaker. Jazeer Painmaker. Well, okay, it's Payne. God dang it, Daryl. And here, you let me say it multiple times, too. Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate you, Daryl. Greatly appreciate it, throwing me off, knowing you. George fires, and incomplete. His receiver was not on the same page. And a timeout taken by. So they stop the clock. 6:46 left to go. I don't know who called the timeout. The referee didn't signal. I'd like to thank the ACYA, who's done a good job taking care of us here at the Brevard Sports Network. This All-Star game is happening for the first time in 12 years. And you know what? It's good we got an All-Star game back. You know, especially I think, for most importantly, those in 14U, because a lot of kids, that'll be their last youth ball they play. And I feel it's important. George in the gun. George over the middle and intercepted. Intercepted. Jazeer Payne with the interception. And that's why you practice the tip drill, everybody. So here comes Durfus. And that South defense, or offense. Incomplete. Pass intended for number 10. Trenton Washington out of Melbourne. .5:23 left to go here in the first half. And now he says, wind it. Steps up, fires over the middle, and great pass deflection. That's number 10 on that pass deflection, Michael Arthur. Michael Arthur got his hand in on that one and swatted that ball out. That'll bring up third down and really long. Nope, 3rd and 10. Drops back to pass. It's going to be a wide receiver screen. Beautifully executed. He's got room to run and finally brought down, but not before the South picks up a big first down. It's number 10 on the reception, Trenton Washington. Washington keeps this drive alive. 1st and 10 from the 47. Hands off there, number 22. Number 22 gets to the outside and is tripped up. He'll pick up a nice gain. Jace Richardson in on the carry. So here comes the South. Hand off there. Makes a couple stiff arms. That's Jace Richardson. And that'll be enough for a South first down. Richardson carrying this team to the promised land. Now he's taking a much-deserved break. Coming in is Jazir Payne, who set up this offense with possession. Okay. Draws back to pass. Fires, and it's caught by the lineman. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Keep going, young man. Number 56, Ashton Simmons, the offensive lineman out of West Melbourne. And you know what? As a former lineman, I couldn't be happier for the kid. He lives out every lineman's dream. Wait, I got a catch, and now I'm going to push the pile my darn self. That was awesome. So first down here, and Jazir Payne to the outside. Jazir Payne turns the corner and finally pushed out of bounds. And that'll be enough to move the chains for the South All-Stars. 57 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Can the South All-Stars put this ball in the end zone before the end of the half? Durfus back in at quarterback. There's a toss. Cuts it outside and fights his way in. That's going to be I thought it was number 20. Or is it number 10? Okay. Okay, but okay, so we don't have a number 20 on our roster. Did I really miss him? Tyrese Jefferson. Tyrese Jefferson on that carry. And the South's going to call a timeout. 25.5 seconds left to go here in the first half. What a game we've had. And that's Jazir Payne. Jazir Payne scores for the South. They wait. And everyone's jumping up and down, and I was waiting for the typical celebration. Hey! We got confetti! I love it. I freaking love it. Jazir Payne. Folks, if you don't hear a PA announcer ever again, it's because I decided to take Daryl and throw him off the top of the bleacher and put him out of his misery. Yes. He's a slightly more redneck mankind, okay? Puts a man in motion. Shout, and he gets in. Number 20, Tyrese Jefferson scores the point after. And the South get on the board with 22.6 seconds left. It's 7-0. 22 seconds. I mean, you heard me making the joke about, this South team might as well be labeled the Woods just with some extra players. But there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 players on the All-Star team are from West Melbourne. Sprinkle in a couple Bayside, couple Palm Bay, some Melbourne. And a nice return for the North. He's still going, pushed out of bounds somewhere near the 40-yard line. So the North has 11 seconds to go 45 yards. Check that, 40 yards. Can the North do it? Takes a shot, and it's intercepted. And he could go all the taken down by the quarterback with 0.5 seconds left. And they called a defensive holding. Yeah, yes, he did. What Whitehead made this there. So as cool as that interception was, it does not count. Called defensive holding. So the North will get one more opportunity. But you know what? If you are that young man, you can now clip that and put it on Twitter. So the North with one more opportunity. 0.5 seconds left in the game, or in the half. George rolling out. George will get tripped up. Ball's on the ground. Covered by the North, but that will be the final play of the first half with your score. The South 7, the North 0. as the South is ready to kick off and the North is just jogging onto the field. South leads 7-0, as you can see right up there on your Rich's Auto Tech scoreboard. And finally get the ready for play whistle. And that one will go out of bounds. And another whistle stops the play. Now we kick it. To the outside. Again, let's think. First and 10 for the North at their own 40. Let's thank Rich's Auto Tech. 10% off your labor bill if you mention the ACYA All-Star Game as seen on the Brevard Sports Network. You mention ACYA All-Star Game, you mention Brevard Sports Network, 10% off your labor bill. Hey, any sort of discount you can get when it comes to repairing a car, best to jump on it. Jump on it. You know, we know. So here comes the North, who's trying to mount something. Every time they seem to mount some sort of offense, turnovers. First and 10 for the North, and more whistles. And someone's already got to be spending a timeout. $9:51 left to go here in the third quarter. So here we go. The North come out in that wishbone power I formation. And more whistles say, hey, we're not ready yet. Now we're ready for play. Going to be a halfback pass. And it looks like he's got himself a north side first down. First and 10 from the 50-yard line. I'd like to welcome Bill Maharis, Lee Aubrey, Sherry Sexton, Mary Petty Palmer. There, gives it to the deep back. Deep back has some room, cuts to the outside. Going down the sideline, finally wrestled out of bounds. Second and 3 for that north side offense. Hands it off up the middle, cuts back outside, and that'll be enough for a north side first down. And the North finally mounting an offensive drive. Drops back to pass, fires, he's got a man, overthrows his wide open receiver. His receiver was wide open. Yep, I'm fine. So it'll be 2nd and 10 here for the North. Power eye set. Gives it to the third back through, and he will get wrapped and dropped. Jazeer Payne was in on that one. Looks like the tackle was led by their number 7. No, that's not a number 7. Let's try 27. Caden Burke on the tackle. Second and 20 here for the North side, as there was a penalty on the play. George fumbles a snap. Did the South side jump on it? Yes, they did. The South side forces their second turnover. And the South side creates their second turnover of this game. And there was a Durfus. He slipped on the turf. We've seen some slippages tonight on the turf. NFL conspiracy? Maybe. Did the ACYAA not get the correct turf shipped in on time for these Super Bowls? Gosh. Gosh darn it. ACYAA. I'm kidding. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. Handoff there to that running back. Number 25 on the carry, Julian Baxter out of Melbourne. But I mean, for the North, it just goes back to what I've been saying. The North team they'll get a drive going, they'll get a first down, maybe two, and then turnover. The ball's on the ground. They've thrown an interception, which was called back, but there's the pitch. And goodness gracious, I have seen some car crashes that weren't that powerful. So it'll be 4th and maybe a yard for the South. Now, I will say this. I know Billy Palmer. And when it's 4th and short, he likes to do something very special. And he didn't even get a chance to do it. That's going to be an offsides. That'll be a free 5 yards. So 4:40 left to go here in the third quarter. Durfus with one back in the backfield. Durfus with the pitch. Slips out of a tackle. Still brought down at about the 40-yard line. So, all right. So I've been complimentary of the refs all day and them not calling anything. They've only called the most obvious penalties. Obvious. The last 2 games. There's been more penalties in this game than the last 2 combined. Durfus hands off there to the up back. The up back powers his way forward. Is that number 22, Richardson, or is that Santos? So, Jace Richardson. Gets it back to near the original line of scrimmage. It's now 2nd and 11. And they're going to toss to the outside. And he will be pushed out of bounds before he picks up the first down, but he's going to make it 3rd and really short. And there's another flag on the play. .321 left to go here in the third. And he's got some room. That's going to be a first down and then some. And another flag on the play. I mean, like I said, the last two games, there's been almost nothing called. Maybe like one or two penalties called all game. And in this one, every time there's a big play, there's a flag. And the North wraps up the ball carrier. It's third and a country mile. And that was a miscommunication. Timeout as they're asking for the clock to stop. I don't know if it's timeout or a water break. What we're doing here. And there's a high snap. Quarterback rolling out, fires. Completed. And he will be taken down at about the 44-yard line. It will be turnover on downs. And the North will get the ball at the 45-yard line. Now everyone's getting their substitutions. Now I think we're getting a delay of game called on the North. Oh, sorry, they had 13 in the huddle, my bad. Confusion on the North. Sends a man in motion. Hands it off there to number 10. And there's another flag on the play. All of a sudden, every penalty is being called. And I guess that's my only issue is all day you've been letting, and even in the first half, there was only a couple penalties called in the first half, but they were obvious, egregious penalties. You've now called more penalties in this half of football than you've called in the first half of this game and the previous 2 games combined. That's where I have I got questions. Pass and nearly intercepted. Jones Jr. almost has. That's Terrence Jones Jr. Someone said this game is boring. Well, every big play. Here's the thing. There's been big plays on both sides that have happened. But penalties are calling it back. And, yeah, then you're getting a lot of these second, third, and longs that there's a toss to the outside. And the South defense gets in there and wraps up and stops. Landon Berger. And timeout by the North with 43.1 seconds left to go in the third. You know, let's thank Rich's Auto Tech. Get 10% off when you mention BSN and the ACYAA All-Star Game. You mention both of those, and you get 10% off your labor bill. Again, BSN and the ACYAA All-Star Game, 10% off your labor bill. Just another one of the best reasons why you should choose Rich's Auto Tech for all your car repair needs. Not only does he partner with the Brevard Sports Network in helping support youth and prep athletics, he also gives discounts to say, hey, if you watch them, you get a discount. Drops back to pass. Rolling right. Fires it deep downfield and incomplete. George has had a tough night. And part of it is because of the awesome coverage in that defensive backfield. Grandparents watching from Alabama. Number 27, Caden Burkle. Caden Burke. I apologize. The exclamation point looked like an L from when I looked at the screen, and I apologize. 36.3 seconds left to go here in the third. Drops back pass. George with a swim move. George. There is a down north side player. Brevard Sports Network does not show injuries. Again, we also like to think Orange Pest Control. Orange Pest Control is Brevard's go-to in pest control. And the young man is back on his feet, walking off under his own power, so that is awesome to see. Proud grandparents watching Jonathan Gonzalez from Ohio. And there's another penalty. Now that one I saw. Offsides. On the corner tried to jump. And so is North football, or South football. Must have been a turnover on down. Snap high. And that snap. So now it'll be. That'll be the final play of the third quarter with your score. The South 7, North 0. When we come back, it will be second down and a super long quarter mile. All right, here we go. Second and forever. The ball's at the 45-yard line. They have to make it to the 15-yard line to get a first down. So you can do the math at home. Well, that fires. Deep shot, and it's caught! No. And I thought someone came up with it. You know, I watched it back on the replay. It was definitely an incomplete pass. I thought that play was going to work. I was going to ask how. Georgia puts it in the end zone. It's 20-16 pending the extra point in the SEC championship game. Durfus drops back to pass. And once again, that's slippery turf. Number 5, Tristan Washington out of Melbourne. Proud grandparents watching Landon Berger from Virginia. Well, glad you could enjoy watching your grandson play, even from all the way up in Virginia. And there we go. A double pass. It's caught. It's caught. No flags. No flags. The on, so from Durfus to Tyrese Jefferson. Who was that receiver down on the other side of the field? It was Richardson. And Jace Richardson. Jace Richardson on the double pass completes it. And we go from fourth and forever to now it's first and goal inside the Riches Auto Tech red zone. End around into the end zone. Touchdown, South. It's number 22, Jace Richardson, as they allow to finish off the drive. As the whole team runs out and celebrates. Absolutely. .8:33 left to go in the ball game. Give up the middle is no good. But the South puts a second score on the board. And unfortunately, we got I have a Florida fellow Gator fan that is making us look really bad right now.
Oh no, they wouldn't shut the front door the next 2 days. No, I had to hear it for 3 days.
Yeah, we deserve to hear it. Got it. So Daryl, so you can talk it, but you can't take it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Nope. Nope. I don't. Daryl, you're never going to convince me that you're in the right on this. Anyway, Daryl, if for anyone walking who I'm talking, no, it's oh wait, it is 13. My bad. I shall fix it because I can't do math in my head. There's the return, and the ball's on the ground. Now wait a minute. Reverses field. The 30, 35, and there's a flag. Wait, what? A chop tackle? That's a thing? Probably a block in the back, maybe. I don't know.
That's what I'm confused at here.
All right. So I can't question this flag because honestly I don't know. All right, so a penalty called on the south side, so that'll add more yards to the end of the run. What could have been a disastrous start for the North. 8:16 left to go. It is now turned to some pretty decent field position. I'll say this, if the North can score quickly, can make this a fun little ball game here. However, and now the South takes a timeout. So South calls a timeout with 8:16 left to go in the half, or in the game. Coming up next, the 14U Division All-Star Game. Again, presented by Brevard Sports Network in partner with Rich's Auto Tech and Orange Pest Control. George fires, and it's complete. Pass is caught. Caught by number 15, Jonathan Gonzalez. That'll be enough for a North 1st and 10. Can they continue the momentum right here? 7:50 left to go here in the game. Can they put a score on the board quickly? George is trying to have to escape pressure, and he will be dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Tackle for loss, inbounds. And a timeout called by the North. With 6:40 left to go in the SEC Championship, Alabama has just put another score on the board. It's now 26-17, pending the extra point. Yeah, I'm rooting for Bama because I want to see some chaos. To be honest, I also want to watch. It's not going to happen. It's a far cry dream, but I'd love to watch Iowa.
Oh, no, that's not, no.
Listen, I would love Iowa to win, and I would love Louisville to win because I want to see complete chaos.
Iowa wins, I will buy you an ice cream cone.
That you must realize I'm a fellow adult. Anyway, we can talk more about that later. Fires and it's intercepted. Down the sideline. He won't be caught. 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown. Touchdown. And the South Side. I did not catch the number. A pick six. I'm terrible with colors. I've told you this. I could not. The one here in the blue pants I see is 13. Quez younger? Or Pick 6 for Southside. Fires that one over, throws his receiver. So it will be 19-0. I forgot to add the extra point from the touchdown before, so. So a pick 6 by the South, I think, has officially put this game out of reach. 6:49 left to go in the game. And the North will take over 2. Dorian Fabian. $6:49 left to go in the game. George fires, and it's caught, and he's running backwards. So that pass was caught at near the 40. He runs back almost 10 yards. Okay. And he ends up losing more yards than drops back to pass. George pump fakes, reversing field, drops the football, picks it up, and finally brought down. And he ran for about 25, picked up 4. Fumbled it himself, picked it up. This is interesting. Coming up on 5 minutes left to go here in the game. There's one more All-Star game left to be played. 14U. And just as I said that this game here was loaded, this 12U South was loaded with the boys from the woods plus others. The 14U North, well, you might as well call that the Cocoa Tiger team plus others. And they bring the blitz. Fires, and it's intercepted. Jazeer Payne. And Payne will be tripped up. Jazeer Payne with his second interception of the day. This one not called back. So the South will get the ball back with 4:13 left to go in the game. Durfus fires, and that ball is incomplete. Pump fakes. Durfus will be wrapped up and called down. .348 left to go here in the game. Durfus under center, sends the man in motion. Now fakes the toss. Fires over the middle. It's caught. Touchdown, Southside. Number 11, Edmund McLean Jr.
From the woods. On that pass interception.
And if there was any question whether the game was out of reach, the question has officially been answered. It is now officially out of reach. 25-0. And that's a high snap. Extra point is no good. But the South officially puts this one out of reach with 3:13 left to go in the game. It's 25-0. There's the kickoff. And it's picked up and returned, and returner will be dropped at the 47-yard line. 3:10 left to go in the game. Coming up next will be the 14U. No, that's not the same thing. That's called a halfback dive, sir. Following. Okay, sorry, lead. Sorry. Lead. My bad. Fact is, you were still wrong about it being a tush push. North gives it to their up back, and he is dropped after picking up maybe about a yard or two. It's number 6, Mackay Pelt. O'Connor, number 0. Number 14, O'Connor. Number 0, Shaquem. Shout-outs from West Virginia. I'm not going to sing for everybody because I know no one's ears want to hear that. There's the toss to the outside. And the South said, that's just how we do it in the South. Smothered and covered. And he's tackled in bounds, so the clock continues to run. $1:44 left to go here in the game. So they readjust the football. A minute left in the game. The North trying to put one on the board to erase the goose egg. And we're just all waiting. And little dive up the middle, 42 seconds, and the South calls a timeout. You're right, that was number on that previous play, number 24, TJ Ross on the tackle. And the clock gets to be moving, and that should just about do it, folks. The South is 3-0 on the day in All-Star victories. I'll say this. They're going to have a tough time at 14U. But so far, the South comes up with the victory. And there is a coach who is heated and continuing to go at Billy Palmer. Or he was going at somebody. But the guy from Coco is irritated. But anyway, we're going to get out of here and get set up for the 14U All-Star Game. Your final score, the South 25, the North 0.